What's good, YouTube? I am joined by mcole40 for an actual collab rather than our usual tournament like co-commentation slash commentation. We're gonna be here with a discussion, and we're two old war dogs. Like, we've seen it all. I've at least been here since
this guy called us war dogs.
Yeah, we've seen it all, man. But since
I prefer to be a grandpa, thank you.
Yeah, since LOB... Well, you fought the battles. You got to the top cut.
We both... I have a third place.
Hey.
So, hey, man, that was good.
So the thing here is we want to talk about something that's through all time been perceived in many different ways, and that's information, spreading information, and talking about how it affects the player base and also their reception to it. And one of my biggest pet peeves, I just want to start this off, is people who have that notion, they're the Yu-Gi-Oh hipsters, and they just have to like say, oh, you're now just finding out about that, and they like try to berate people for having conversations about the game just because like they're a week late on it, or like they mentioned this tech and they're like, oh, I've known about this always. These are just
get your shit together, John. I can't believe you didn't fucking know about that. Fucking asshole. It's been on the organization for a week. Yeah,
exactly. So like you bring up an older topic that's been out and people are like, you're so slow with this, you're so this, and it stops you from going into conversation about older cards and being more open to thought processes. And I feel like in a lot of places that gets hit. Like, we are going to touch on this lightly. With Market Watch, a lot of people are like, Market Watch hurts the game. Market Watch is bad.
John,
what's up?
John, calm down. Ooh. There are two people here.
Ooh. Ooh, you got me fired up. I'm sorry. You had this giant speech.
Okay. First off, knowledge is power. All right? John, I understand that you're knowledgeable on this game, but please let me share.
All right. We got Robbie here too.
Okay.
You want to just restart?
So no. Right. This is what I like.
All right.
We're good personalities, John. Our viewers have ever seen anything about us. We're two very strong-minded personalities that definitely like talking and engaging and things like this. And this is a very good example of how passionate you are at the topic at hand here. You know, I think it's definitely important that the community understands, though, that the lack of, I guess, necessarily education, you can't expect every person to be as educated as you are. John brings up a very good point of this with the hipsters, you know. You can't assume that every person is going to be as knowledgeable as you are at the topic at hand. And I think this is something that, like, I've faced and John is just now facing with YugiTube in general, is you can't expect that every person knows X thing. You know, if you do the same zoo deck profile with like 2 or 3 changes multiple times, you know, even John will notice it that, you know, people still want you to explain how the fuck zoo works multiple times. Right, John?
Yeah, and then if you do, you get people who are like, we already know how it works. Why are you explaining the basics?
And basically, the underlining point in this video, subtopic -1A here, is you can't please everyone. But that's not what we're here to discuss. Yu-Gi-Oh players take education for granted. They really take a lot of the things that a lot of the community has done for them and really, I guess, throws it under the bus. You know, without the organization, you would have the little creepers of the internet scrolling 2chan trying to find as much information as they can about what's going on in Japan. And this is something that I was talking to John about before the Market Watch here, was people sometimes get mad at the Market Watches. You know, John, you know it, I know it. You do a great service for the community, but this information is public knowledge. The only thing that is happening with these things is it's being communicated to more people. And I think a lot of the community tends to get angry that, like, the organization post deck list, for example. You know, OCG Thursdays, John might do an OCG deck profile every once in a while on something, and the only thing that we want to do is we want to educate you guys and be like, hey, check this out. This is actually kind of fucking cool. You know? You've had these experiences, right, John?
Yeah, it's like with Market Watch. So we talk about things, and sometimes there's very good specific examples of when it lowers a price, but a lot of the times the information will raise a price because people on my channel see, hey, this is at this right now and it's doing this in the OCG meta, so you should get it. But then we have other examples of cards like Odd Eyes Persona Dragon. I actually posted it up while it was 60. I was like, all the vendors are trying to hold the line. You might have a card that you don't know is money, and you can go look at the Market Watch where I actually post that, and it's littered with comments of people like, I had this card in a tin. I didn't know it was worth anything.
Dude, I'd be fucking like, if someone... See, this is the flip side of the argument here. You know, like, if I have Persona Dragon sitting around and I picked it up for like $5, I'm gonna go sell that shit for $20 right now. Freest money I ever made, right?
Yeah, and it lowered it to 30 right away, and now you can get them for like 26s. Like the day of Market Watch, it halved it because I was like, look, they're all holding the line here. If you have one, go feel free to list it lower. And I often say that with cards that have gone up recently. I was like, if you want to sell it now, I would immediately list it lower, and I usually give like a bit of a range, but in the end, it's your decision, the viewer's decisions on what to do with this information. We can talk and talk. I talked for 2 weeks about Denglong while it was still $2, and I'm just like, look, you need to get it now, you need to get it down, but there's such a quantity that I can't affect the price. It has to be natural, and now it's, what, a $4 or $5 card plus? Like,
I mean, Danglong is a very good example, though. Like, it's a card that we knew should have been more than it actually was. Another good one is High Speed Chambara, you know? It didn't start going up in price until, you know, much later.
Yeah, now it's like a 20 plus. And interestingly enough, if you clear their field, that turns your Overraptor, if you hard drew a Conductor, into just a 2-card OTK, because you get the Dino, you get Miscellaneous Source to your hand, you pitch it, you get the Tuner. There's 2 Dinos in the graveyard. Once you make Chambar, there's your Conductor, and that is, I believe, 8,100 damage. It goes 22, 24, and 35.
I can't wait for Star Cradles to come out so I can just beat you upside the head with blue cards.
Oh man, I love them. They're actually so cute and cool, but I think...
John, that deck is literally Robbie Cole. You know that, right?
Yeah.
The list of stars, blue Robbie.
I think they literally announced that there's not going to be more support for it, though.
I'm sure they'll sneak in something somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I think they said... I said the Star Relics could get future support, I think, but the Star Grails, I think, get no future support, specifically.
They could, you know, they could literally Cleafort this shit, right? Like, they could, next set, they'll introduce the guys that want to kill them, like the Cleaforts of the set.
Oh, yeah, that'd be so cool.
I mean, remember, the November set that we get is usually the most broken set in the block for that, and we'll be getting probably more stuff for that set. So that'll definitely check that deck, I think.
But yeah, as I'm scrolling through here, there's 2, 4, 6, 7 articles, all from today on the organization. Just so much information at the tips of your fingers. And then, like, people who don't want to, like, go to the organization and read, they rely on tubers to tell them what's important. And sometimes we'll want to talk about something else later. Like, I have a topic I'm going to save. Like, here, there's already a alternate art version of the new Ace monster, the Cyber's Dragon. What's it called? His main ace monster.
Dude,
Firewall.
Could you imagine if they produced, like, Hidden 3 this year and they just they do the Prophecy Destroyer shit? They're like, alright, alternate art Firewall, let's go.
Yeah, this is the quickest there's ever been an alternate card since Dark Magician. Remember LOB and Starter Deck Yugi Dark Magician had different arts? This is the first time there's ever been an alter art that quick. Like, besides that.
What about Blue Eyes?
Yeah, Blue Eyes also had the alter art. So basically, like, it's just that big of a monster to the show that, like, I think Started at Kaiba and Yugi took longer than this, though, to get, you know, actually out there after to LOB.
I think you're right.
Because Started at Kaiba and Yugi were out a while before LOB, right? Like, was it in a good month or 2?
Hey John, this is a great part of the topic. This is, we're educated on this right now. Good example. Actually, our worthless knowledge of this game, you caught Dark Magician as the main other person is an alter art. Congratulations, guys! You get to see a rare chance of knowledge that we've acquired over time.
Yeah, it's
right,
it's just useless things, but at the same time, it's like interesting. Like they're things that you might not have thought about, and like I want to save that for later. But if I save it for a week, oh, you're so slow! They announced that reprint a while ago. Like its alter art was announced, you know. And if I save it for 3 days, I get you're late. Like, and so it's hard to bring up a conversation piece that's just cute and filler.
That's not the only thing that's hard. So, something else to note here, going back to the point of the Market Watch and education, in the OCG actually, you saw something like Dragaleo was out you usually see people start buying out these cards. Anytime a buyout occurs, it might take an hour or so for those cards to be bought out. So if the one person's going to make the fucking argument, I know, it's like, well, I don't have to be here on the internet all the fucking time to, you know, do this shit. Sorry, sucks to be you. But the point is, if you caught on to Direct Alio was being bought out, or if you saw something suspicious was going on the hype train, you could have picked up your copies before they reached ridiculous amounts.
And I featured it twice on Market Watch, I think, in the $3 range. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. I did not cause that to go up. It took time from the $3 range to go up. Naturally, once the structure deck was busted, that's when people really said, "Oh, this structure is so busted. Everybody's gonna have the cards, so everyone's gonna want the cards that go with the cards."
The moment when John thinks he's a messiah, making cards prices rise.
It's the viewer ultimately. It's just the viewer. Like, I can try as hard as I can on a card, and like, it won't go up.
Can you touch a pile of shit and make it gold?
I can't. Like, I actually, legitly, the only card I've ever, like, admittably, ever tried to even touch the price of was a Nunku, because it was 50 cents, and I was like, hey, a Nunku should be a lot higher than it is, and I stressed it so much, because I was like, this card is insanely low. This card, and it wouldn't go up because of Market Watch ever. Like, Market Watch could not make a Nunku go up. It had 2 versions, too many quantities, despite how good the deck was. That's the only card I've ever, like, been like, this is insane that it's still this low. Why isn't it up? This is insane. And just featured it so much on Market Watch, and it just didn't change from, like, past the $1.50 mark. Like, it never became a $5 card that I expected it to. And then you have random cards where, yes, you touch a pile of shit on Market Watch and it turns to gold and you don't expect it, like Antitopian. You tell your viewer base, hey guys, Antitopian is a good card to get as a trade-in, because like you get it on top of a trade-in. It's one of those throw-ins.
Okay, so Antiopian, I saw that you made a comment on it going up in price. I'm like, wait a minute, no, there's another fucking reason here. It actually topped, like, the first week of, like, Zoo format, John.
Yeah, on my channel. I hosted the feature, but it didn't go up till I featured it on Market Watch and talked about it. And
again, 3 full force viruses.
And I literally told people, hey, you can get this as a thrown in on trade. I wouldn't buy it over $1, and it hikes to $4. And like, I guess lightning was more considered back then, so it also stopped them from ever being able to lightning you. So it's better than just a generic turn 1 like target for full force virus. But at the same time, like, I just, like, a ton of people accused me of hyping it, and I was like, I did everything so carefully to say, hey guys, like, I wouldn't buy this over $1. I would get this as a throw-in.
It's not even hyping it. You have to forget, it's a chain reaction. If someone sees it in a deck profile, you know, they're not there to... I'm pretty sure, like, when you're doing deck profiles, you're not like, hey, you know, buy this card or do this card. It's like, hey guys, check this out, Antiopian. See this? See
yeah, this is what it does.
Yeah, this is why we're playing it in X scenario. Once again, though, this is education, you know. If you're following a blind messiah and expecting to, like, profit versus, you know, an actual statement with actual reasoning, then, you know.
Yeah, and at the same time, like, if you bought that card for over $1, I still think you're crazy. Like, we can actually go to TCG Player and try to see what it's at.
You know, a good point of this is the True Kings. Both me and you stressed those for weeks. And I actually never thought they would go beyond $12 because of the potential reprint in the Megatins, but...
Yeah, they're just up like crazy. Yeah, Antitopian, 77 cents.
Yeah.
Right back where it was.
Right, John, True Kings are a very good example of the market being a real unpredictable beast.
Yeah, like, you would have never thought it would... I would have thought its resting place would have been 15 max, and that would have been pushing it. Like,
yeah, but Yu-Gi-Oh players don't give people enough credit, you know? You could have bought those at $2 to $3, and look how much profit you could have made.
They were like, after the initial fallout, you could have got them at 50 cents at one point. It was crazy.
Yeah, unlimited printings do help, except for Agnizon.
That's not all, folks. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Please check out my Cardfight Vanguard channel, VanCole40. You guys will get an insight on our playtesting sessions. And please check out the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. That way you guys can follow the House of Champions and MCole40 Interactions. Please check out MCole Games for all of your guys' trading card game needs. And if you guys enjoyed this content, please check out my Patreon in the description. Every bit helps to the creation of these videos. One step at a time in improvement, and that's the goal of this channel. Alright guys, have a good time, and thanks for watching.